Hello, good morning. How are you today? My name is García, and today I want to share with you a couple of tips to help you improve your pronunciation in English. Okay? And it's regular verbs. Alright, so let's begin. The ending of the regular verbs is it's just adding ed or sometimes just adding the letter D. Okay? For example, want becomes wanted. Okay? Visit becomes visited. Rain becomes rained. Waste becomes wasted. Okay? That's pretty easy. So you can guess right now that it's not gonna be so complicated, right? I'm lying. It is complicated. There are some other verbs, for example, that end with Y. We need to replace the Y with an I, and then we add ed. For example, cried, and here, reply. We need to replace the Y with an I, and then add ed, like replied. Okay? So you see that's pretty easy. Well, I hope until here you understand these tips on how to just add ed or d or replace the y for I and add ed. Okay? If you get this part, that's good so far. Let me tell you this. The pronunciation is not that simple at all. It's a little bit more complicated, but there's one thing that I want you to understand right now, that there are 3 ways to pronounce the ed endings in the past tense of a verb. Okay? So for example, here I have the first sound. It sounds like id. Id. Repeat. Id. And I think this is the easiest sound. It's just for verbs that end in the T or D consonant sound. Okay? For example, need, last, wait, add, plead, accept, waste. Okay? Notice that I am referring to the sound, not to the letter. Okay? So I say waste. Okay? So now, if you just want to put these verbs in the past, you pronounce it with this. You pronounce it like this: needed, lasted, waited, added, pleaded, accepted, wasted. Okay? If you notice, it's a short and low pitch. Okay? It's not very strong, not very long. It's just id. Okay? Needed, lasted, waited, added, pleaded, accepted, and wasted. Alright? This is very simple. The next 2 are a little bit more complicated. Okay? But don't worry, I'm here to help you. We have a short list here. Okay? When a verb in its infinitive form ends in a voiced sound, for example, this here, okay, those are voiced sounds, and they normally come from the throat here. You even feel the vibration here. Okay, you feel the vibration here. So, for example, here you add ed, but you pronounce it like the. Okay, you are not going to say allow it. Okay, it's not allow it. It's allowed. Allowed. Okay. Rain, for example, it's not rain it. It's rained. Rained. Okay. Call. Called. Make sure you pronounce the. Okay. Called. Loved. Okay. Well, love. Loved. Okay. Wave. Waved. Waved. You see the sound? It's a voiced sound. It comes from your throat. Allowed, rained, called, loved, waved. Okay? I'm not saying allow it, rain it, call it, love it, wave it. Okay? That's totally incorrect. So avoid making those mistakes. And you also need to look at this carefully, because here's where we use the vowel sounds as well. Okay, for example, play, die, spy, try, they all end in a vowel sound. So we just add the ed and pronounce it with this sound. Played, played. In this case, it just needs the d. Died, died. Now here, spy and try. If you remember, as I explained before, we replace the y for the I and then add ed. So we're gonna do the same thing here. Okay, spy, I replace it for I and then ed. Spied. Try, I replace the y for I and add the ed form. So it's played, died, spied, tried. Okay, avoid saying things like play it, die it, spy it, try it. No, that is incorrect. So be careful when you use this form. The next part is the t sound. T sound. Okay. Now this is, I think, if not the most difficult, perhaps the most challenging sound to make in English, because it's a very strong T. T, t. Okay. For example, here, stop. All right, this one here I didn't explain before, but it's consonant, vowel, consonant. We double the last consonant. Stopped. Here, stopped. All right, and talk, we say talked. Face becomes faced. Watch becomes watched. Wash becomes washed. Laugh becomes laughed. Kiss becomes kissed. Fix becomes fixed. And I would say that this is harder because it's more of a cluster of consonants. Okay, a cluster of consonants is normally when it's a group of consonants, for example, this and then T, like in this word, asked. It's very difficult to pronounce a group of consonants sometimes. Okay, it's difficult, right? So asked, stopped, talked, faced, watched. Here there's a cluster of consonants. Watched, washed, laughed, kissed, fixed. Okay, they all end with the t sound. All right, so one way you can identify when to pronounce this sound is, for example, when the verb ends in the p sound, in the k sound, in the s sound, like face, faced. Okay, in the ch sound, in the sh sound, in the f sound, again, s and x, this. Okay, that is one way to identify when to pronounce it like this. Okay, so let's just go over this again and as a summary of the lesson. Here, regular verbs refers to adding ed or just d to the end of the verb, or in some cases replace I and add ed. Okay, here there are two examples here, and it's pronounced in three different ways. The first one is very easy. It's just id, needed, lasted, waited, added, pleaded, accepted, wasted. Okay, the second way of pronouncing it is with the sound. Allowed, reigned, called, loved, waved, or in vowel sounds, played, died, spied, tried. There's a third way on how to pronounce these verbs. For example, the t sound. Stopped, talked, faced, watched, washed, laughed, kissed, fixed, right? As easy as that, okay? And that's it, my friends. Thank you so much for watching the video. I truly appreciate your comments below. I truly appreciate that you can share this video with your friends, and I will see you the next time. All right, take care.